So have you ever had that dream of launching the next Vinted, only to get stopped in your tracks by the sheer cost and complexity of it all? Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to break down the ultimate shortcut for launching your own fashion marketplace, the clone script.
You can see it, can't you? A buzzing online community. Your brand becoming the next big thing in secondhand fashion. It's an awesome dream to have, but there's always a but, isn't there?
And here it is, the reality check. Building a platform like Vinted with user profiles, listings, secure payments, chat, the whole shebang, doing that from square one is a monumental task. We're talking a massive upfront investment, a super long development timeline, and a pretty high chance that some technical glitch could derail the whole project.
But what if you could just skip all that? The headaches, the insane costs, the waiting, and jump right to the fun part of building your business. That's exactly what we're digging into today.
Okay, let's dive into what we'll call the marketplace dilemma. It's a classic story. You have this brilliant idea, but turning it into a working, secure, and scalable platform, that's where so many amazing ideas just fizzle out. The technical side of things can be a real dream killer.
Think of it like this. You're at a fork in the road. On one path, you build your house from scratch. It'll be perfect, exactly to your specs, but man, it's going to take forever and cost a fortune. The other path, you buy a beautiful, high-quality, pre-built home. You can move in next week, you can still paint the walls and make it your own, but you skip all the insane costs and risks of building it from the ground up.
And that brings us to the hero of our story today, the clone script. This is that shortcut. This is what can take your big idea and make it a reality, like way, way faster.
So what is a Vinted clone script really? Let's be clear, it's not a literal copy and paste job. Think of it as a professional-grade starter kit. It's a ready-made software package that gives you all the core features of a platform like Vinted right out of the box. It's a solid, tested foundation for you to build your unique brand on.
So why go this route? Well, the perks are huge. You're getting to market in a fraction of the time and for a fraction of the cost. All those essential things like seller profiles and buyer-seller chat, they're already built. And the best part? You're not stuck with it as is. It's a flexible starting point that you can completely customize to make it your own.
Okay, so the concept sounds good, right? But now for the big question. Which script is the right one for you? Let's meet the 5 major players you should be keeping an eye on right now.
Before we start throwing names around, it really helps to understand the landscape. This isn't just a random pile of options. The market really breaks down into 3 very distinct tiers. Getting this in your head now will make choosing one way easier later.
First up, at the entry level, we have what I'm calling the startup choice. A great example of this is a company called Zipper. These are perfect for founders who are bootstrapping and just need to get a solid MVP, a minimum viable product out the door fast and without breaking the bank. In the middle of the pack, you have your mid-range all-rounders. This is where you'll find names like Yokart, Migrashop, and Sangvish. These guys offer a fantastic balance of powerful features without the eye-watering price tag of a huge enterprise solution. Honestly, this is the sweet spot for a lot of people.
And finally, at the very top, you've got the enterprise powerhouse. Think Miracovis. This is for the big leagues, startups with serious funding or established companies that need deep customization and massive scalability from day one.
So now that we've mapped out the territory, let's get down to brass tacks. It's time to put these contenders head-to-head and look at what really matters: the price, the features, and which one is the right fit for your project.
Whoa. Nothing tells a story quite like a price chart, does it? Just look at the gaps here. At the low end, Zipper gets you in the game for under $500. The mid-range, like Yokart, is about $1,000. And then you have this just colossal leap up to the enterprise level, where Miracle starts at nearly $13,000. It's pretty clear we're talking about 3 completely different worlds here.
Okay, here it is, all laid out side by side. You can see Zipper is aimed squarely at startups. Then you've got Yokart, Migrashop, and Sangvish hanging out in that mid-tier, which is great for growing businesses. And of course, Miracubes is playing in its own sandbox at the enterprise level. But you know what? The most important thing on this whole chart is that best 4 column. That right there is your clearest guide to finding your match. Let's just simplify this for a second and look at the 2 extremes. If you go with a startup option, like Zipper, you can launch super fast on a shoestring budget. The catch? You might have to pay for custom work later on if you need really advanced features. On the flip side, an enterprise solution like Miracubes gives you incredible power and scale from the get-go, but you're paying for it with both your wallet and your watch. All right, we've laid out all the options. Now let's switch gears. Let's make this about you.
and how you can make the absolute best choice for your project. And really, it all comes down to answering 3 simple questions.
First things first, and this one's a biggie. You have to be brutally honest about your budget. This is the single fastest way to narrow down your choices. Like we saw in that price chart, there are very clear budget tiers. Knowing your number instantly tells you which category you should even be looking at.
Next up, how fast do you really need to be live? If speed is your #1 priority, if you need to get to market yesterday, then a more out-of-the-box solution is your best friend. But if you have the luxury of time to really dig in and customize, then a more flexible and, more expensive solution could be on the table.
And finally, you got to think about the future. What's the long game here? Are you building a cozy, niche community marketplace, or are you swinging for the fences trying to build the next global giant? Your long-term vision has to inform your choice today. An enterprise script is total overkill for a small project, but a basic startup script might crumble if you suddenly go viral. So after all that, what's the one thing you should walk away with? It's this. There is no single best script. It just doesn't exist. The best one is the one that fits your budget, your timeline, and your vision like a glove. It's all about finding the right tool for your specific job.
And that brings us to the end. We've looked at the problem, the shortcut, and the top players out there. We've given you a roadmap for how to decide, so the final question, well, that one's for you to answer. Which script is going to be the foundation for your vision?